Go.
Village Creek brings us donuts freshly baked. Bill.
So many of my friends have asked about how and why I make donuts in my basement that I decided to make a video of the entire process. We're going to start with yeast donuts. Then we'll do a batch of fry cakes at the end. We begin by creaming the sugar and the shortening. Next, we add the eggs, whole, not beaten, a few at a time. It's a good idea to keep your bowl scraped down so you don't end up with a bunch of shortening lumps in your dough. Add the remaining dry ingredients and then the buttermilk. I use instant dry yeast, which can be mixed right in with the flour. Give that a little blend. If you're looking at my reflection in the bowl, you can see I'm taking a pitcher of lukewarm water out of the microwave. The donut base goes right in the water. We incorporate it a little. Next, we dump in the flour yeast mixture. This next part gets a little strenuous. I'm mixing this by hand because it's too much flour for my little 6-quart mixer to handle. When you're through mixing, you will have a sticky, rough textured dough. We're going to cover that and let it rest about an hour and a half. So here it is 90 minutes later, and the dough has doubled in size. We're going to chop this in half and roll up 2 fairly tight buns of dough. Now ordinarily, we would let these rest right here on the bench for about 10 or 15 minutes for the second rise. And then they would be ready to roll out and cut into donuts. But I'm going to slow down the fermentation process by letting these rest overnight in the refrigerator. This saves me having to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I can do everything I've shown you so far the night before. Then I don't have to get up until about 6. Okay, it's now 6 o'clock, and these have doubled in size. They're nice and soft and puffy, exactly as they would have been if I had left them on the bench last night for 10 or 15 minutes. Time to get some steam going in my homemade proof box. And the fryer is heating up the oil, so it's time to get some ventilation going on in here. We'll roll these out a few times to get the dough to relax and get the gluten activated. I don't know what kind of rolling pin you have, but this one's made out of stainless steel and it weighs 4 pounds. That donut feels a little heavy to me. I think I'll give this dough one more roll. Yeah, that's better. That's a reject there. Okay, about 15 or 20 minutes in the proof box and these should be ready to fry. Donuts are up. The crackling sound you hear is the steam on the surface of the donuts exploding in the hot oil. These fry at 375 degrees for about a minute on each side. You can see me watching the clock there, so I know when to turn them. We dip the donuts in the glaze while they're still hot, so the excess will run off rather than soak into the donut and make a soggy, gooey mess. And we just continue the process over and over again. I usually roll a few donuts in granulated sugar. Not everybody likes glazed donuts. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Look how light and fluffy. Soft and tender. And oh, what flavor. So that's it for yeast donuts. Now, let's do some fried cakes. We'll begin by making some chocolate frosting to put on them. I scale all of my ingredients. It's so much more accurate and consistent than using measuring cups and spoons. So we start with powdered sugar, then add some baker's cocoa. A pinch of salt. To get a nice smooth frosting, it's always a good idea to sift the sugar. It also helps to blend the sugar and the cocoa a little more evenly. I'm dumping this mixture back into the flour scoop because I can't pour from this large bowl into my small mixer. A little bit of shortening. And, of course, pure vanilla extract. Off camera, you can hear me setting my microwave for 137 degrees to heat the water I just weighed. I have pre-scaled all of the ingredients for the fried cake batter to save time in the video. We begin by creaming the sugar and the shortening, just like we did with the yeast donuts. And we add the eggs the same way. I use buttermilk in my fried cakes. It really spikes the action of the baking soda and results in a real old-fashioned style donut. The dry ingredients all get blended with the flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, and nutmeg. A quick blend, and then we will sift this. You generally can get away without sifting the flour with yeast doughs, but with cake batter, you pretty much have to sift it if you want good results. Add the base ingredients to the dry ingredients and mix. Again, I am mixing by hand because of the limited capacity of my electric mixer. Fortunately, cake batter is not nearly as strenuous to mix by hand. Sometimes, if the batter feels a little too stiff, we need to add a dash or two of water. If the batter consistency is right, it'll be a little difficult to keep it from falling off the spatula when loading the donut hopper. I usually punch out a couple of test donuts back into the bowl to assure that the batter is right. As I drop the donuts into the oil, first they sink to the bottom. As soon as they pop back up to the surface, usually about 30 seconds, and their centers partially fill in, it's time to turn them. I let them cook for a minute and a half, and then I turn them again and let them cook for another minute. So they're in the oil for a total of 3 minutes. It also gives me a chance to practice my drumming. After the donuts have fully cooled and the chocolate has been gently warmed in the microwave, we dip the donuts in the chocolate one by one. So that's about it, but don't go away. I want to show a short film clip from a TV game show that was popular in the 50s and 60s, in which I appeared as a contestant whose hobby was making donuts in his basement.
Welcome to America's most popular TV game show, What's My Secret? I'm your host, Mr. John Charles Weekly, and this is our panel. Renowned journalist, Ms. Dorothy Kilcourt. Distinguished publisher, Mr. Bennett Sertz. And celebrated actress, Ms. Arlene French. And now, meet our contestants. What is your name, please?
My name is Bill Kelly.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bill Kelly.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bill Kelly.
Two of the gentlemen you have just met are liars. Only one is sworn to secrecy. Bill Kelly's affidavit reads as follows. I, Bill Kelly, make donuts in my basement as a hobby. Some guys make beer or wine in their basements. I make donuts. And now, we will begin our questioning with Arlene.
Flour, sugar, shortening, eggs, and milk.
What is a recipe for donuts?
That is correct. We go to Bennett Sertz for the next question.
Okay. It is used to make donuts raise.
Folks, we have a three-way tie. All three contestants will have a chance to answer. Bill number 1.
What is yeast?
Bill number 2.
What is baking powder?
And Bill number 3.
What is baking soda?
All three contestants answered correctly. We will now go to Dorothy for the final round of questioning.
Okay. 350 to 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
What is the temperature for baking donuts?
According to our experts, that answer is within the acceptable range. That ends our round of questioning. Panel, will you now vote please for number 1, number 2, or number 3? Great minds think alike. All of our panelists have voted for contestant number 1. And now, will the real Bill Kelly please stand up?
I hope you enjoyed my little parody contrasting TV game shows of the 1950s to present-day productions. My family and I would often gather around the TV in the evening and enjoy episodes of I've Got a Secret, What's My Line, and To Tell the Truth. Those shows depicted the wholesome values and standards of the times that I grew up in, and were so much more enjoyable to watch than their modern-day counterparts, such as Jeopardy, where the focus is centered more around personal greed than anything else. You can find old reruns of these shows on YouTube. Take a night off from the network sitcoms and check these out. I think you'll find them refreshing. And maybe choke down some fresh donuts while you're watching.